My name is Jessica Beaver, and this is my video observation submission for observation number 1. My UTA ID number is 10020065832. I am pursuing a Master's of Education in Educational Leadership and Policy Studies. And this is my first video you're going to see is me meeting with my site supervisor regarding my upcoming presentation and observation.
All right, so I shared with you my presentation on code switching, which is something I'm doing for my observation. And this, I just want to have your eyes on it, get your feedback. What can I add to it, change, whatever thoughts that you think. So I just did this is a little slide on academic and behavioral code switching. I got those sources right from online.
Maybe from the very beginning you add one slide in between of what do you already know about code switching and kind of get their thoughts, because they may have an idea of what it may be or maybe what it's not.
I was speaking to somebody, I think it was Emily, and she said, I think I've heard that before, but I don't know.
So maybe you kind of throw it out there. What do you already know? Talk to your table, have them share out, and then connect back to what it actually is.
Now, should I just leave both on so they know that it can apply to academics and behavioral, or should I just stick to behavior?
No, I would put both.
Okay.
Yep.
What do you already know about code switching? Okay.
Okay, then let's see.
And then there are some examples from a couple articles that I read.
Okay.
I found those online. I can add more to it, but I didn't want it to be too much.
Ooh, this last one, changing their appearance or hiding aspects of their personality. We actually had a scenario like that. We had a sixth grader that in her culture, she wasn't allowed to shave her eyebrows or wax her eyebrows or whatever, and there was some extra hair in the middle. And she was dealing with this peer pressure of feeling like, well, I want to look like my friends, but at home, I'm not allowed to do that. And so we had a conversation of, you're beautiful just the way you are. Right. But even her dealing with that internal struggle of, but why can't I? And then she was going to try to do it on her own without her mom's permission.
Oh, wow.
So I think that was a good part to put in there, because that's not something they're going to.
So kind of just like I'll give some examples of each little bullet point.
Yeah, like maybe you mentioned, like say the first one, they may do subconsciously and not even realize it. Give us some examples of that. Okay. They may want to fit in with social groups. So what have you seen in your classroom that kids are doing? And that's something that she wanted to do to fit in. Okay. She wanted to wear makeup and she wanted to wax her eyebrows.
Okay.
So yeah, I would break down each one of these, talk about it, and then share in your groups of some specific examples. And maybe you're charting those, because those may be good to come back to again when they have more experiences with it and they're noticing it more.
And that's good too. Like as right now, I will be presenting this as an administrator, not as a teacher. Yep. So, you think it's okay to say things like when I'm in the classroom?
Yeah. And you could even do, if you wanted to do more like electronic, you could do a Jamboard with each one of these questions, and then they could go in and as a team put a sticky note on there or something, and then everybody could see it on the screen in real time.
Oh, and we could also, that could be a table talk. That could be a table talk, TT. And then this can be some type of electronic. So how would I have to share this presentation with everybody?
I'm trying to remember how I've done Jamboards in the past. I think that you just have to share the link to the Jamboard and make sure they have editor access.
Okay.
And then they can add their own sticky note and type a response in.
Okay.
And then y'all could talk about them as a group once you see everybody's up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then, switching your brain from home to school and talking about what that means, because I've been saying that all year, but maybe they don't understand, what does that actually mean? And how do we explain it to staff, but then how does staff turn around and explain that to the kids to where they understand? And the research shows you're not supposed to negate what they're taught at home. Like, at home, mama says you can do whatever, okay? But here at school, these are our expectations at school. Then you're not saying you can't do what your mom or dad has already told you to do. You can do that at home, But at school, this is what
and we can tie that into our.
Yep.
Those are our values.
Mm-hmm.
And then our mission.
Yep.
I should put that mission on there too. Those are the. We are respectful.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I had to think there for a second.
Yeah, and then like I always stopped on own it. Like, what does that actually mean? Because a lot of kids were not owning what they were choosing to do.
Okay.
Yep.
So I went into data in this slide based on the referrals.
That's perfect.
Referral data. So they actually have numbers. So we don't say we had a lot of referrals this year and this. So it actually gives them.
Yes.
And I know Angie said that this was the highest number of referrals that she has seen.
Yes. Very high number. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, and I like this.
I also want to add, do you think it's okay to add on there information about how many ISS, Crossroads?
And Angie has that report. I don't know what the report is called, but Angie can run that because it'll tell you like ISS, Crossroads, lunch detentions, administrator conference. It breaks it down. And we're really heavy at the bottom when really we should be heavy at the top and not at the bottom. Like it should be heavier on administrative conference, lunch detention, then ISS, Crossroads. But it's because we aren't utilizing those pre-interventions first.
Okay.
And that's where we want to have that conversation. Don't forget, if you're having issues, let us know. Let's have a conversation, and then we could do an administrative conference as a first intervention.
Okay.
Rather than waiting too late to where now the behaviors are so escalated that now we have to do something different. But it's going to be really important to remind them that when they say, well, my mom said or my dad said, that they don't say, well, that doesn't matter. Or, we're here at school. Like, you say, okay, yep, those are exactly what you should do at home. That's what they tell you to do at home. But at school, this is what we do. That way you're not crossing off what they've learned to do at home.
That's a good point.
And if you do that, it severs the relationship between the student, between you and the student and the family, because they're thinking, well, now you're telling me I can't even do what my parents told me to do.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Okay. And then this was a chart.
Yes.
Now this was, I don't know if I should just leave this like that. I can also add on here about Crossroads, ISS, lunch detention, and administrative consequences.
Yeah. Maybe you show this and then say, okay, with these offenses, these were the interventions that were done. And then maybe that's when you can mention that we got to do more earlier interventions so that we could utilize these first steps like administrative conference, lunch detention.
Okay.
To develop those tools.
So show chart and then maybe add another slide.
With this similar chart, but then having like lunch detention, administrator conference, ISS, and then break down the numbers for that.
So you call it interventions?
Okay. Administrator directed interventions.
Okay, administrator directed
due to referral.
Okay.
And then who are affected? Yep.
Which is us. Those lower socioeconomic status students. And then I didn't know who else I should maybe put in there. Because it's not always low socioeconomic, but it is mostly our campus.
Yes.
But we have certain subpopulations.
Like, and we've talked about the cultural things, like
right.
when you tell a certain student from the Arabic culture to look at you in your eyes, they're not really supposed to do that. And then also, really, any student that their mom and dad tells them something, and then we say, well, nope, you're not going to do that, you're going to do what I say. That could be all students at this school, not just the low socioeconomic. But you do see it more, the effect a little bit more with the lower socioeconomic status. Okay. And then goals. Yep.
The SMART goals. Should we add anything about these little intervention numbers, or should we just leave it as, because this is the first stepping stone here on campus that you deal with?
Yeah,
if we have a decrease in those, then we would have an overall less CR, Crossroads, ISS.
Yeah, I think we need to have both, because we might see more referrals, but that's because people are targeting it a little bit earlier for an administrative conference before it ever gets to an ISS.
So you want to think we should put SMART goals for, because you said you have,
for those placements.
Do you know how many we had?
I don't have them off the top of my head, no.
Yeah. Maybe that's on that sheet she gave me.
I think she gave you that. It had like Crossroads,
it had
ISS, lunch detention.
It had number codes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's like
I
coded?
think
I'll go back and look,
that.
and I wrote a list. I was like furiously writing what the codes meant.
Okay.
So I'll look at that first before.
Look and see.
If not, I'll just send her an email.
But I think we should have goals on this too.
Okay.
Because like I said, we might show that we have more referrals, but what was the actual next step intervention?
Okay.
And we want to watch. We want less ISS and Crossroads and more of those early interventions.
Okay. Okay, so I'll add another slide for that too. Just like this slide here of adding a slide with, where did I have that? Right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That was this data.
Yes.
I'm going to put an arrow here
Okay.
in my notes. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, no.
So then on this slide, what I did was I did a lot of thinking in a teacher's perspective, something that was easy to do.
Okay.
We don't want teachers, I don't want anyone to think, oh, this is something else I have to do.
Yes.
But these are just natural things that I felt like teachers can do, and we could change it, add it, because we've done a lot of talking about.
And you know what, too? Maybe we could start tracking the number of positive office visits that we get.
Oh.
Because we get them, but we don't track them in any kind of system. So that might be cool, because we wanted the opposite. We want more positive offices. I don't like to call them referrals. I like to call them visits versus the referrals. So it might be good to track that. Okay. And then also maybe set a teacher goal. Hey, it's your goal every 6 weeks to turn in at least 4, or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
And then teachers really do it if you already copy them and put them in their box.
Yes.
I noticed that.
Yes.
You can have the stack available, and people get busy. But when you put them in the box, then they get turned in.
I know. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you said, we're busy.
Yeah. So we could do that, and then give them a goal. It's your goal to turn in at least whatever number we decide. That's
something I'll add to the list.
Okay. Then, also, I thought that the execute plans with your teams, we're going to develop something like that teams are going to do at the beginning of the year.
Which will be good. The survey.
So they're going to be already developing all those plans.
Should I just leave it like it is?
Yeah.
Then? Okay.
And then, of course, understanding behaviors are not black and white.
And I can teach from. I planned on using my own experience where I used to be a black and white teacher, and I relied on power struggles with my students. Yeah. And it took an administrator to sit me down and be like, you know what? I'm going to tell you, it's black and white. Yep. How you approach one student is not how you approach another student, and you got to understand everything that they're coming in. And it was an aha moment for me.
And teachers will teachers have told me, well, where's the book that says like hitting equals this? Well, there's not.
There's no book
because you have to consider the mitigating, and you probably need to add that slide in here.
Mitigating
factors. And those are the age of the student, the intent of whatever happened, their disability, their the number of occurrences that they've already had. Like, all those things have to be considered. So that's why it is not black and white. A kindergartner kicking someone is different than a 6th grader kicking someone. Also, an autistic student kicking someone might be looking a little different than a student that doesn't have autism. Not that we're providing excuses, but we have to consider all of those things.
Right.
And I think that'd be good to mention here, because we're going to continue to mention that.
So maybe number 8 should be its own slide.
Yeah.
Like this right here.
Yes.
Can be its own slide, and I can talk about my personal experience, list mitigating factors that we do need to consider when we are addressing behavior. And
as much as you can mention your own experiences, the better. Okay. Because when we get up there, we're the principals. So you get what you're saying, But when they hear it from their own colleague, then it's going to be different. Because they're going to be able to feel like, oh, I can relate with that. Yeah, I did the same thing, or I used to do the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
as much as you can, as much throughout this whole thing. Okay. And not just what you think or your emotion about it. Yeah. What specific examples that you've experienced, and then what you've learned from it is going to be really good and powerful.
Okay.
All right. And then you have your conclusion slide.
Yeah. I mean.
Yep. Yep. I'm not sure. References. Yeah.
So you think it's a good, like, just beginning point to what because this really goes in line with my practicum plan with the behavior and the referrals. This is a good
And then
starter.
one other thing you might want to do is create a couple of scenarios that show that code switching happening.
Okay.
Like the example I gave you of that student with the eyebrow, like that's a certain example. Also, like the whole, well, my mom said when someone hits me, I defend myself. And then like an example of what's the exemplar for responding to that? What it is, what it isn't. It's not, well, you're at school, we don't do that here. That's the not way. Okay, the is way might be, or the way we would want them to do it is, you know what, thank you for letting me know that that's what you do at home. I'm so glad you have
this
a
right
safe
here.
example.
I was actually looking, because I know we were talking about that. I was leafing through this, and there was something that I thought, oh, this is something everybody can be off. Now I'm not going to be off. I should have sticky it. Oh, this one right here, setting limits.
Yep.
Don't talk to me in that tone of voice.
Yep.
I know I've said that. I'm not gonna lie.
Of course.
I'll be glad to listen to you when your voice is as soft as mine.
Yep. And that's what we'll say up here when they're yelling. Oh, we'll talk to you when you're calm.
So maybe I can put some of these in there. Okay.
Here,
I have a heart.
Sticky note. Okay, perfect.
I like the hearts
Me
that are
too.
sitting here. Okay, so I can add to a. So you think I should have like a slide of, like, these are all
And
these
that
are
might
actually
be a
little
good
scenarios.
one-pager, or like a little tool sheet or something.
But this is like good
sometimes
scenarios.
in the moment you don't have the tool. Yeah, those are good scenarios too.
You get to work. Be nice to each other. Quit fighting. You're welcome to come back as soon as you work that. Oh well. Good luck.
Yeah, we're not going to add the good luck part.
But I'll think of some other things that we say, like I care too much about you to argue with you.
And like try to connect it as much as you can to code switching. Like, all right, well, my mom said when someone hits me, I'm hitting them back, defending myself. All right, thank you for letting me know what your mom says that you do at home. I'm so glad you have a plan to keep you safe at home. But when you're at school, this is what the safety plan looks like.
Okay.
And then even like with sagging pants or whatever, well, my mom doesn't care. Okay, so at home, thank you for letting me know that, your parents allow you to wear your pants like that. But here at school, we need you to pull your pants up because that's your private business. And sometimes you do need to paint the why of why we have to do things at school. Like I tell kids why we can't have hoodies. It's not because I'm mean, it's for safety reasons.
We started saying that too. It's a safety when they would roll their eyes.
Yes.
Well, I understand that you're upset about that because I do like a hoodie on my head
course.
too. I get that.
Yes.
But when we're in school, it's a safety because what if we
right.
had a situation and I had to identify you quickly?
That's right.
I can't see you.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
so that
kids
type of
in
thing.
poverty, you'll see that maybe in this emotional poverty book. Kids in poverty, like if they are homeless or they don't have much, that's how they sleep, and that's their comfort. So if you negate, you can't ever have that on. That's a problem. So you have to explain. So as much as you can bring in those code switching examples, the better.
Okay. So like pants. What else? We have the
hoodies.
hoods.
The fighting, like defending themselves.
Arguing.
Even like arguing, smacking their lips at us. Like I've seen kids do that in front of me to their parent, and their parent doesn't respond.
Yes.
So it's okay when they do it to us. They think it's okay because I do it with my parents, and it's not an issue.
Right, and they don't address it.
Yeah. So you have to teach what we want it to look like at school.
Okay.
We just have to be really careful and not say, well, you don't treat me like that. That's not how we're doing here. Okay, but at home, thank you for letting me know at home this is how you're allowed to act, but at school, this is what we need to do for this reason. Because
if you go the other route, you're inviting yourself into a power struggle.
Yeah, and then they're going to go home and say, well, Miss Beaver said that I'm not allowed to do so-and-so, but you told me I was, so, and then you have this whole back and forth.
And you have
that's
a parent
division
calling you,
between home and school.
Don't tell my kid what to do. And that's not going to build a good bridge.
Nope. So you can validate. Thank you for letting me know what you do at home. Validate, and then teach the school way. That's how I like to put it. Validate whatever they tell you at home, what they do at home, and then teach what we do at school.
Okay. And then should I... At the conclusion, do you think I should? I know we do like I like when people do like the sticky note, the plus delta. I always like that. So maybe if I have everyone do a plus delta on a Post-it and just stick it on here to help me and give me some ideas or what you would like more help on, you think that would be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Plus delta. I never knew how much I liked plus delta until I started working in HEB.
And you could do like aha, like what's something you've never considered or never thought about, but now after hearing this, you're like, makes you think more about it?
Mm-hmm.
Or like I've seen you do a heart and a brain. Like the brain would be what I just said. The heart would be like, what's something you're going to try within the first 2 weeks to kind of stamp on something. And then you also have your feedback on what else they need in the future.
Okay. All right.
I think that'll be really good. I'm excited. For this.
I think it's good. I really tried to think of all the common things that I heard.
Yep.
And it's that switching your brain from home to school. And that's when my professors was like, oh, that's called code switching.
Yes.
And then when I started doing research, it was like a whole Pandora's box of things open. So I think it'll be good. And it's tying and aligning in with like my practicum plan and what your vision is for the campus. So
it goes along with what our campus needs for sure.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope, I think we're good.
Okay.
All right, thank you.